Welcome to day 3 of Women's Empowerment Summit 2020. Ignite your confidence. We are rocking it, I think. I have to give a shout out to Catherine and Beverly for kicking off this summit and doing a great job. So tonight I am happy to introduce to you Mary Jo Van Horn, speaking about faith and finding peace. Mary Jo is a personal life coach. Her life's purpose is helping others feel their full sense of self-worth, self-respect, and self-love. Mary Jo's lifelong mission is for all of humanity to go to bed at night feeling emotionally safe. She coaches perfectionists, procrastinators, and approval seekers to release guilt, shame, and negativity so they can freely and lovingly express their confident, authentic self. Let's give a big welcome to Mary Jo Van Horn.
Growing up on a small North Dakota dairy farm, the promise I inherited was that working really hard was the path to feeling worthy, satisfied, and ultimately fulfilled. So when I set out on my own, I worked really hard. No matter my circumstances, my go-to strategy was to just put my head down and work hard. But that sense of worthiness and fulfillment eluded me for many, many years. Instead, by the time I hit my mid-50s, I was going to bed most nights feeling exhausted and emotionally drained, and would mentally beat myself up for not working hard enough to feel good. Worse yet, I had a lot of resentment that had built up over the years because that promise wasn't playing out as true for me. My desire to let go of that resentment became the catalyst for working on myself, during which I learned that, as well-intentioned as it was, the promise I inherited was ever so slightly flawed. You see, there's a difference between I have to work really hard to earn my value and I have value just because I was born. That flaw is revealed in your faith, in the two sides of faith. One side of faith enables you to connect to your higher power, your intuition, to all that's authentically true for you, like confidence and feeling worthy, trust and feeling lovable, deep connection and feeling like you belong, and peace within. The other side of faith is what's untrue for you: indifference and feeling unworthy, betrayal and feeling unlovable, loneliness and feeling like you don't belong, internal conflict that keeps you stirred up inside, influencing even the simplest situations, which just reinforces your fears and doubts. Faith is putting complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Growing up, I had complete trust in what was being modeled for me by those closest to me, like my parents and older siblings. Much of it was from the side of faith that was good and true for me, but some things, though well-intentioned, were actually from the untrue side of faith, such as the belief that I earn my value through how hard I work, and the boys in the family deserve better than the girls. Each of those beliefs started as a thought, like a seed being planted, and grew stronger over time from either new experiences or recurring experiences that validated and eventually cemented each thought into a belief. Our beliefs are so important because our actions will always line up with what we believe to be true for us, whether we're aware of those beliefs or not. During the summers growing up on the farm, if I got caught watching TV or just hanging out in the house during the day, my mom's booming voice rang loud and clear. Get your worthless butt outside and get to work. Another memory as a kid is my mom playing solitaire at the dining room table. And it was always at the dining room table, never at the kitchen table. I can still see those faded blue cards flying across the wood tabletop, lining up just perfectly in those neat little rows. But whenever the back kitchen door would open, meaning dad might be coming in the house, she'd throw the cards under the tablecloth and jump up, pretending to be cleaning or cooking. Now, as kids, our brains aren't fully developed. We absorb everything around us. And when we experience circumstances that are confusing or that don't feel good, we make up stuff in order to make sense of things. Get your worthless butt outside and get to work. Must be because I'm worthless if I'm not working. Mom can't let dad see her relaxing. Must be because you should always be working. The planting of those seeds can come from the most unexpected childhood places, like wash day. Back then, we always hung the clothes on the clothesline outside to dry. Now, being from the Midwest, the only exception was in the dead of winter. And the ironing was always the responsibility of us girls. I had 4 older sisters, but eventually the job of ironing fell on me. Now, I didn't think anything of it at the time, how us girls always had to iron the blue jeans that my dad and my brothers wore out to the field or to the barn to do chores. And not just a quick once over with the iron. They had to be ironed and folded just so. Even the jeans they wear to do chores deserve better treatment than my clothes. Must be because boys deserve better than girls. I don't think I was ever conscious of those beliefs, but I do think they hung out in my subconscious. Now, along the way at school, at church, by watching TV, reading magazines and books, I learned that we are all one. We are all worthy. We all deserve equally. The complete opposite of what I subconsciously believed. Hence, the internal conflict. Because even though a part of you knows what should be true for you, life has a way of proving you wrong, even as an adult. I remember being in my early to mid 30s, working hard at my job. I asked for a big raise and got it. I was over the moon happy and proud of myself. The next day, my folks were coming to town for doctor appointments, and we were meeting for lunch. I was so excited, smiling ear to ear as I shared the good news in that red lunch booth. But instead of happiness and praise and a way to go, Mary Jo, my mom gave me this blank look and said, "That can't be right." "Oh, but it is, Mom. It's in writing and everything. It's a done deal." And she said it again. "That can't be right." And then she changed the subject. Confused, I looked to Dad for a little help, but his eyes and focus stayed squarely on his plate of food. As we were getting ready to leave, I brought it up one more time. And again, Mom said, and this time quite sternly, "That can't be right, Mary Jo, because that means you're now making more money than your brothers. And that just isn't right." And again, Dad said nothing. And we all got up and left. I would imagine my subconscious sounded something like, "Boys in the family deserve better than the girls." Yep, still true. And then that was validated again every time I shared an accomplishment with Mom, and she'd one-up me with something one of my brothers did better. It's that conflict between what you know you should believe and what you actually believe that robs you of feeling at peace, right? That has you explode or shut down when your buttons get pushed, when you feel emotionally triggered. That sends your confidence running for the hills when things don't go your way, or when you try stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's the two sides of faith, the side that's true for you and the side that's untrue for you. Now, understanding both sides is key for your spiritual or personal growth, because your actions will always line up with what you believe to be true for you, whether you are aware of those beliefs or not. It was July 2016. I had recently started what I call my spiritual journey, and was at a Deepak Chopra live event at the Chopra Center in California. A 7-day deep dive into each of Deepak's 7 spiritual laws of success. I had read the book multiple times and was super excited for those 7 laws to go from really cool concepts in my head to actually living them on a daily basis. The first 4 days were amazing. Deepak himself presented several sessions. I took lots of notes during breaks and during meal times. I met some new and fascinating people from all around the world. And it was so fun to share all about it with my husband during our nightly phone calls. Now it was the morning of day 5. I was walking tall, feeling confident and almost giddy with excitement, because this day was the deep dive into the law of least effort, right? The principle of least action, of no resistance. When we learn the law of least effort, we easily fulfill our desires. I arrived at the ballroom early, got a chair close to the stage, sat with pen in hand and my workbook open. I was ready. The first presenter takes the stage. And slowly but surely, my excitement morphs into confusion. I don't get it, keeps repeating over and over and over in my head. As the day went on, I became more and more confused, and even agitated. By the mid-afternoon session, I remember thinking, well, how wonderful for all you presenters that everything comes so easily. Oh, good for you. But that's not how it works for me. I took no notes that day. I went off by myself for all the breaks, even for lunch. And for dinner, I bought a sandwich at the hotel store along with a couple of cold beers, and just slowly walked back to my room, confused, doubting everything, feeling dejected, just all of that weighing heavy on my shoulders. That confidence I felt in the morning was nowhere to be found. And my conversation that night with my husband was me complaining about how my neck and back hurt, how I was tired of being around so many people all the time, how I couldn't wait to just get back home. The two sides of faith. The side that's true. I am worthy of the law of least effort. I am worthy of things coming easily to me and without resistance. Yes, yes, this is what I want. The side that's untrue. I am worthless. I have to work really hard to earn my value. I had the choice to choose one of those sides, but at the time I wasn't even aware of either side of faith. So I chose to not choose. And when you don't choose, confusion takes over. And your actions line up accordingly. Notice how my actions lined up with confusion. I took no notes. I isolated myself. I complained to my husband about all that was wrong. Your actions will always, immediately or eventually, line up with whichever side of faith you choose. Looking back over the years, I now see how choosing the untrue side of faith, or not choosing a side at all, kept me stuck. It kept me stuck in working really hard, right, in order to feel good about myself. In this need for others to know how hard I was working, right, how busy I was. It kept me stuck in using food and alcohol to mask my emotions that didn't feel good. In resentment and confusion and doubting myself when things didn't go as planned. It kept me stuck in putting the needs of others ahead of my own, in blaming others for my mistakes, and in not enjoying life to the fullest. None of which felt good. Now, as I continued my spiritual journey, I got awareness, right? I became aware of the two sides of faith. And with this new awareness, I learned how to love those unacceptable parts of me that had become my emotional baggage. I learned to face my feelings without judgment most days. I learned that how I see others is a reflection of how I see myself. I learned to love myself. I learned that my parents did the best they could with what they knew. I learned that I love my parents deeply, despite recognizing that they too chose the untrue side of faith at times. And that this recognition was not throwing them under the bus or being disrespectful. I learned that I have value, that I am worthy of all goodness just because I was born. And through practicing what I learned, I began to consciously choose the true side of faith, that connection to our higher power, our intuition, and all that's authentically true for us. A few years ago, a Facebook friend messaged me about a direct sales business whose product was wearable technology for better health, a wristband that monitored steps, sleep, blood pressure, heart rate, and that sort of thing. I had zero interest in becoming involved in a direct sales business, but my intuition told me to move forward with it. And not to just start with an individual band, but to go all in with the family pack. Now, at the time, I'd been taking prescribed medication for high blood pressure for 20 some years, and for help with sleep for at least 9 years, and was consistently inconsistent with exercising. So when the product arrived, I was all in. I started monitoring my blood pressure and my sleep. I started walking every day to hit my number of steps goals. And the wristband became a fun way for me to learn more about my health and be more engaged with it. What wasn't fun was the business side. I was confused by what I perceived to be a lack of leadership, right? Videos of those at the top talking about how they never used the product, right? That it was all about making money and very little about helping people live healthier lives. And intuitively, from the very beginning, I got the message to not build the business. Now, that seemed odd to me, but putting faith in my intuition, I continued using the product. And I'll be honest, at first, I tried overriding that intuitive message to not build the business. And, you know, in those first few months, I tried to build the team. It worked a little bit, but nothing about it felt right. So eventually I just allowed myself to follow my intuition, right? To practice the true side of faith and continue to pay the monthly loyalty fee without building the business. I kept using the product, and at the 1-year mark, I no longer needed prescribed medication for my blood pressure or to help with sleep. And still true for me today. So a day came when I decided it was time for answers. Why was I continuing to pay this loyalty fee every month to be in this business but not build it? And I took some quiet time and asked my higher power, what is the lesson I'm meant to learn? What am I meant to know here? And the answer I received was, dearest Mary Jo, the only way you were going to make your health a priority was if you thought you were building a business around it. Always prioritizing work totally supported my belief that I had to earn my value through how hard I worked. And then I heard that direct sales business has served its purpose. Let it go and continue your journey towards a healthy body and mind that you so richly deserve. Practicing the true side of faith is asking empowering questions. What is the lesson I meant to learn? How may I serve today? What do I truly desire? What is the message I'm meant to hear? What am I grateful for in this very moment? Asking empowered questions such as these creates that sacred space for you to hear the whispers of your higher power, to hear your intuition speaking, and to connect to all that's authentically true for you. Now, I didn't just wake up one morning with all of my issues healed, all of my baggage fully released, and life was perfect and wonderful and has been ever since. No, it doesn't work that way. It is a process. There have been many times I found myself back in the groove of trying to force things to happen, right? Trying to earn my value through hard work, feeling emotionally triggered. And it's like, dang it, how did that happen again? More baggage to release? Really? But with every experience, even what feels like a setback, there are nuggets of wisdom, right? Another insight, another breakthrough, another opportunity to choose. When you choose the true side of faith, your confidence stays with you, no matter your circumstances. When you choose the true side of faith, you lovingly embrace all the parts of you, even the uncomfortable ones. When you choose the true side of faith, you have the courage to heal. When you choose the true side of faith, you are free to receive more joy, more harmony, and deep connection. When you choose the true side of faith, you choose self-love. And when you choose self-love, you find peace within. With everything that you're experiencing in the world today, perhaps it's time to take a break from having to earn your value through hard work and instead choose to own your value just because you were born. Okay, I can feel your resistance. I still resisted at times too. Hard work was deeply ingrained in my upbringing. My parents thought they were setting me up for success. Their intentions were good. They came from a place of love. Working hard was what they learned from their parents, something that got passed down from generation to generation. But remember the flaw. There's a difference between I have to earn my value through how hard I work and I have value just because I was born. When your sense of self-worth is attached to how hard you work, you will resist, right? You will resist when things feel easy. And you'll make things harder in order to feel your value, in order to feel worthy. Now's the time to interrupt that pattern. You have the power and the right to choose the true side of faith, where confidence is always present, where you can let go of the doubt and the fear and know that you deserve to feel confident just because you were born. In all that you think, say, and do, you get to choose which side of faith to put your trust and confidence in. Choose the true side of faith. Feel that peace within and enjoy the ride.